Hey everyone, it's Jen with ChappyPlans. Thanks for joining me for December Daily Stories 22 and 23. Hey friends, it's Jen with ChappyPlans. Thanks for being here. Today I am excited to get into stories 22 and 23. I decided to, again, film these back to back because these are a little bit more of a simple story. So story 22 is it's actually the same number that correlates to the day of this story. We left from New York on the 22nd early in the morning, zooming in, and got there around dinner time on Sunday evening, the 22nd. And so it's literally just a story of traveling to Michigan from New York. I like to document it. It's part of our routine every year. It does take an entire day. So to me, it's worth telling the story. And sometimes there's really funny events that happen in the car or on the way, and it's just a nice way to document what's going on, even though it's more of a micro story. And I'm going to use this transparency that I have left over from Paper Person Shop because it's like a map kind of. Well, it is. And I think it looks pretty over the photo I have there of the view outside of our window of the car. Now, in person, the photo of the sky was much more purple. Like, it was a very cool blue and purple, which is why I took the picture and wanted to include it. And because I wanted it to be the focal point of the story, I decided to print the photos on the right that are in the pockets there, the page protector, in black and white. So I'm going with like a black and white for the photos and then accents of navy blue and gold. I decided to have this kind of flip over the top of the photo, so I went back to my We Are Makers board there and scored it at the 1/4 inch mark to just create a little bit of a tab so that I could put some stickers or embellishments either on the photo or on top of the transparency, just depending on what I decided to do. And I'm going to adhere that to the photo with some red line tape, and it's going to be really super simple, but I do love the way it turned out. I'm going to use the bone tool there to make sure I got a really good crease, trim the transparency so that it lays directly over the top of the photo. And then I dig into my stash and I pull out these old numbers and letters from, I think they're from Michael's from a few years ago. They're really, really thin. I love the font. I think they still have them. And I just put New York and then an arrow to Michigan. And then, the tab at the top just says Jingle All the Way because we always sing Christmas music, like basically the entire way there. I mean, not Norah. Norah, like, listens to her iPad or whatever, watches shows and stuff. But I'm going to adhere the photo down to the backside of story number 21, which was the story of Christmas with Cece. So it's just a small, like, narrow sort of half page, but I do like varying the sizes and the widths of inserts in the albums. I think it adds variety and character to it. So now I'm just going to play around with some embellishments. I have these old travel stickers and I wanted things to be navy blue, so I was able to use the arrow and then just the little flag sticker that said road trip. I decided to mount the number 22 on the gold circle label because it stood out, and I think it also helps to keep the transparency down as well. It adds like a break in the page too. So I love the way it turned out. It was very simple. Like I said, I added those alphas to spell out New York. Well, not spell it out, but just the abbreviation for the state. So at the top, I'm going to tuck the New York, the NY, and then the MI, and then that navy blue arrow underneath the transparency. I think it looks really neat. I love it. It's super simple, but again, very happy with it. While I am finishing up the left side, I will talk a little bit about the right. And I just decided, because I wanted, like I said, to keep the focal point be about the picture of the view from our car, because that really is most of the story. We're in the car all day long. We left at around, I think, 6:45. That's what I journaled. Yep, 6:45, and we got into Michigan around dinner, like around 5 something. So we make a few stops and it's all good. We're used to it. It is a long drive. We go through Canada, but we've been taking Norah to Michigan and driving there since she was a baby. So for her, she's pretty used to it. She doesn't love it. Nobody loves to be in the car all day like that, I don't think, but it's definitely, like, it could be so much worse. She's a really good traveler, I have to say. So, and she just like loves little things, you know, treats in the car and all that kind of stuff. So anyhow, I'm just going to punch holes using my We Are Memory Keepers hole punch tool here. I love this thing. It's very heavy duty. No problem going through several layers of paper and different mediums. So in the end, I decided to leave it as is. You can see I'm looking at a couple other things and considering maybe bringing in some of these word phrase strips because I end up using them on the right side, but I don't do that. In the end, I just leave it. So I move on to the right, which is where I use the 3x4 configuration of pocket pages, which makes it very simple and easy to tell your stories. You can see I've already pre-planned them and put in things where I wanted them. So I printed out the 2 photos of Norah in black and white, and then I'm just basically going off of the color scheme being gold and then navy blue. So I fussy cut the story December details journaling piece right there that I'm adhering to the star cardstock. That little card is from Jenny Garcia, and I used some double-sided tape to adhere down the vellum tree, which is also navy blue, and then journaled. We drove from New York to Michigan, as we do each year, left at 6:45 a.m., stopping a few times to eat, gas up, and relieve ourselves. Nora watched YouTube, played games, and watched shows. Matt drove, we sang, and made it all safe and sound. And then on the bottom, I just layered a word phrase that says Christmas countdown because we are clearly counting down to Christmas, and then pulled out these super old gold puffy hearts from Michael's also and added one of those to the top where the O would have been. Moving right along to the photo of Norah with her Starbucks, I just cut one of those gold circle label stickers in half and wrote, what would a road trip be without a delicious Starbucks? Because we always get Starbucks. I mean, we get Starbucks when we're not on a road trip, but, you know, you have to have it when you're on a road trip, of course. And so I just journaled that, and then she's got her little popcorn in front of her, which is like her new favorite snack from Starbucks. And then I chose to trim out the word phrase that says traditions, put a gold heart, and then moved on to the next photo, which is Nora passed out in the back seat. I wrote on the other half of that label sticker, finally, Nora succumbed to sleep, my cozy, sweet girl. And then cut out the word phrase that says photographic evidence and added another heart. And then the last pocket is going to be a flip up where I'm using this vellum 3x4 card, which is actually from December Stories by the Month kit. Actually, no, maybe it's November Story by the Month kit. And it's navy blue with gold trees embossed on it, which I love. I love, 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 love this card. I wish there was more of this pattern in other embellishments and things, but I didn't use it in my project life, so I pulled it over for this story. And I just created a simple flip up underneath, hiding the tape, just regular Scotch tape with the gold washi from last year's December daily kit. And then it's the picture of Norah in front of my in-laws' Christmas tree in her cozy clothes. And I just wrote on the label sticker that we made it safe and sound to Lori and Graham's house, time for merrymaking. In the front, I just added this tag, which I think is an embellishment from, maybe it's crepe paper. I want to say it's crepe paper, and I spelled out home using those same alpha stickers and used a tab again for, you know, to indicate that this is a flip up. So this tab just says merry and bright. And then I used a heart brad because of the puffy hearts that I used on the other 3 pockets. The gold tape there is totally unnecessary. It's just because, you know, it brings a pop of gold, but it also, I don't know, it hides the other tape that I used, and I think that that looks super cute. I'm very, very happy with this story. Like I said, I actually don't always give it this much attention, honestly, but I just felt compelled to use the photo that we took from the car because the sky is just so beautiful in person. Like, you can't really tell in the video how purple, like the sky goes from blue to purple back to blue, which I don't know, we just thought it was super pretty. So I am glad. And when we travel, it is not always nice like that. And it is definitely not always sunny like that. It is oftentimes pretty tough. Like the whole way home, it rained and it was very busy, like traffic was very busy. It was not nearly as pleasant as the trip out, unfortunately. But I guess it was a lot better because on the way back, we always split it up so we don't drive in one shot. We go from Michigan to Niagara Falls, New York, like the New York side, and then we stay overnight, and then the next day we make the trip home from Niagara Falls. So it breaks the trip up pretty nicely. So now I'm finishing up this story, which isn't really like 2 full pages. I would say it's like, the pocket page and then that little half page with the sky. So I'm going to show you the close-ups of the finished pocket pages. And then I'm going to move on to story number 23, which I've already printed out my photos here on this. I don't even know what it is. It's like a premium presentation paper I got off Amazon. If you want to know what it is, I will look it up. You can let me know in the comments and I'll look it up for you. But it was like a really good deal. I think it came recommended from another content creator who it totally escapes me now. But anywho, I know Allie Edwards always has hers linked up as well in case you're curious and want to use whatever it is that she uses. I printed this picture of Norah and Fiona, which is what this story number 23 is about, because Fiona is Norah's younger cousin. She has lots of younger cousins, but Fiona is the female cousin that she is the closest with. And so I printed out, again, I wanted to do black and white. The colors were kind of crazy. Norah had like gray on, the chair was like a greenish color, and then Fiona had on some like really bright colors. It just really did not go well. So I printed it out in black and white again, and I printed it out at 6x8, and then I just trimmed it down so that I had 4 3x4 pockets that fit into the page protector. And I love it. I've never done that before. I've seen people do it, and I wasn't sure if I would like it, but it worked out really nicely, and it just so happened that the way I did it, none of the lines in the page protector cut over like Norah's face or right into Fiona's eyes or anything like that. So it worked out really well. I lucked out there for sure, because that is not something that I planned for. So you can see I'm looking for numbers right now, and I remembered I had these red numbers from Studio Calico's last Documenter kit, and I knew that I was looking for sort of a big number, and so I loved using those, and there was some like negative space on the top right of the photo, so I used that to place the numbers, and I didn't want to just have floating numbers, so I do what I do oftentimes in both my planner spreads and in Project Life, where I take washi and I use that to kind of act as a grounding tool, if you will, or like sort of the base layer of the where I'm going to put the numbers. I do that a lot of times on the title cards for Project Life, and I trim down the washi and I just put it right over the top of Fiona's little head there, and then put the 2 and the 3. And I also have these really old chipboard pieces from My Mind's Eye, which no longer does scrapbook or paper crafting. I think they do like party items now, but it came from Jenny Garcia a couple of years ago. They must be quite old because there's absolutely no adhesive on them, which is fine. I just used my glue pen, and I think it's by Aileen's. I got it at Michael's. And I'm going to peel off most of the chipboard backing so that they're not super, super thick, because these are really thick chipboard pieces, and then glue them on to the photo. So I add a couple of those stars and then a little green circle. And then in the bottom left corner, I decided not to spell out their names. I just used their initials. So I did the same thing. I took some washi and put that down. And then I used those gold alphas, which came from, I believe they were from a year or two ago, from Allie Edwards' December Daily Kit. And then I added another gold star, and I pulled out these word phrases I have from Tim Holtz. I've had them for years, a couple of years, 2, 3, 4, and decided to use those as well, just for a little something extra. So the one was Merry Christmas, but I trimmed it down just to say Merry. And then on the bottom left, under N and F, where I put the girls' initials, I put Holly and Jolly. So I like the way that turned out. I think it looks really cute because it's got N and F and Holly and Jolly. And then I can move on to the right side, which is just this transparency trimmed down. It was an 8.5 by 11 size piece of paper with all these white transparent or white opaque ornaments. I used 6 of them and then picked some photos of Norah and Fiona from our vacation together. So while we were there, we saw Fiona for a few days, not every day that we were there, unfortunately, because she did go visit her other grandparents. So we only saw her for a few days, but we made sure that they got plenty of cousin playtime in. If you follow me and you watch my Project Life Process videos, you will have already seen some of these photos. I also like to tell the more detailed portions of the stories in December daily, so just a heads up there. I printed out a bunch of these circular photos, punched them out with a 2-inch hole punch, and attached them to the back of these fussy cut transparency ornaments with a star brad. And they are photos from Norah and Fiona's first time roller skating. Originally, the girls wanted to go to the movies. That tends to be our tradition, but Norah had already seen Wicked, and Fiona wasn't interested in seeing Moana 2, which we wanted to see, or Mufasa. We still haven't seen either one. We'll probably just have to wait now until they come out. But the girls decided they wanted to try roller skating together. So Matt and I took Norah, and then Fiona's parents, Matt's twin brother Jesse and his wife Sam, took Fiona, and we went roller skating for the first time. So I journaled about that, and I also journaled about the play date that they had the day after that on Christmas Eve during the day. So Norah and Fiona got to have a lot of fun together just for the couple of days that they saw each other. And they also saw each other on Christmas Day, of course, when all of the cousins came over to my mother and father-in-law's house for Christmas dinner and just opening presents and lots of playtime. So I really enjoyed cutting out these ornaments. I love fussy cutting, especially on this transparency. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about the texture or the sensory feedback that it's giving me. You'll have to let me know in the comments if that's something that you enjoy. Some people really hate fussy cutting. I find it to be very, very therapeutic. I was just listening to my audiobook and living my best life, putting these pages together, pumping out the content, all the things. So anyhow, I picked ornament colors that I thought would kind of go with the vibe, which was like bright and colorful and fun. And so I wanted to include the ornaments that had all the colors in the kit, which is why I chose to use the washi on the left side of the spread. And then reds and greens and golds, of course. So here I have all these pictures already printed out, and I'm just going to punch them out. And some of the ornaments have more than one photo adhered underneath, and some of them just have one photo. And the one that says family and friends is going to have the journaling, and I can read you the journaling. It says, "You and Fiona are very close. She has always looked up to you. Every year, you two can't wait to see each other. We try to spend as much time seeing Fiona when we go home. This time we went roller skating for the first time. You were both nervous but had so much fun. We went to her house on Christmas Eve and you two were super silly. I was quite entertained by your shenanigans," because there's a really funny photo of Fiona in a laundry basket, and supposedly she is supposed to be a Christmas tree. I don't know how, I don't know why. They were just like sugar nuts, really silly. Nora wrapped Fiona in a blanket and put like pipe cleaners and decorations on her and said she was a Christmas tree and pushed her around in the laundry basket. I don't know. Kids being kids. And then the photo underneath it is Norah being Norah, which I have, honest to God, I really have no idea what she's doing in the photo. And she has something stuck to her face, so she looks kind of silly. I don't know. I don't know what she was trying to do. But I am very glad that I was able to put the picture in this story, because it's going to be hilarious / embarrassing for her to look back on someday. So there you have it. We are almost done here. I am just going to keep making my little tag clusters, my ornament swivels, if you will, using the piercing tool I have, which is from Ranger, by the way, and piercing a hole, using the star brad, and adhering it to the transparency. And I feel like I could have done more with this, but I really didn't. I kind of didn't want to. I kind of wanted to keep it sort of simple. Again, this is not like a very in-depth paper crafting, wizardry, genius layout, in my opinion. It came together pretty quickly, and it could have definitely been more detailed, but I am, again, very happy with the way it looks. And so I'm just kind of showing you all the pictures and the journaling, and I will give you a close-up of that. But before I do that, the last detail I add is just a couple of those chipboard stars and a couple of those word phrase stickers. So I literally took the phrase that said merry and bright and just cut off the and put merry on one and bright on the other, and then glued a chipboard star on top. And then on the side, right side of the transparency, I added my favorite gold star trim from May Arts. I love this trim so much. I'm not sure if it's still available, but I did get it on the May Arts website. I think you can also get it on Amazon. We are just about finished here. I'm going to just do this last piece of, I know I said the last thing I did was add the chipboard. I lied. The last thing I do, I'm a liar, is add the ribbon. And I'm just using my, I think this is 1/8 of an inch red line tape. I think that's what this is, to adhere the ribbon trim down. And sometimes I have a really tough time getting the freaking layer of the red protective coating to come off of the tape. Anybody else? You see I had to end up using that little piercing tool, and even that sometimes I end up like jacking up the process. But here is a finished look at these ornaments in real time. So we have Norah and Matt waiting to get their roller skates, and then Norah with her little like helper, whatever that thing is, the little guide there for noobs. My journaling, then a picture of me helping Norah go around the rink, and then a picture of Fiona, and that's her holding her dad's hand, but you don't really need to see her dad. I just wanted to make sure Fiona got in there. And then a picture of Norah and Fiona standing in front of the little sign that says don't be a hater, be a roller skater. It was a very old school place, which was kind of cool. And then a picture of them playing together on Christmas Eve at Fiona's house. And then the picture of Fiona as the Christmas tree, air quote, Christmas tree, and Norah being silly. Then you can get a look at everything in the album all together, both of the stories. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please let me know if you have any comments. Leave them below. Thank you for being here and spending your time with me. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you're not. I would love to have you. Please hit that bell too so you don't miss my content. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, friends, and remember that you are enough. Bye.